not only do you read the Shabbat shorts, but you notice whether or not we record. Thank you very much. So chapter 45, verse 10, we are in the middle of Yosef's message to his father. So Yosef has just revealed himself to his brothers, and now he says, "And please, tell my father that it's me." And part of what he says is verse 10, "V'yoshav tov eretz Goshen." You, my father, come to me, and you'll live in the land of Goshen. V'yisa karov elai. You'll be near me. Ata uvanecha v'nevanecha. You, your sons, your grandchildren, and all of your possessions and all of your animals, livestock. Okay, it's always, when you think about this pasuk, it's an interesting pasuk. What was Yaakov getting at? What was Yosef getting at? This is a major reunion. His father thought he was long gone, and now he says, "Come, you'll live with me. And by the way, I've got a house on the third block, 2 over, with 5 bedrooms." It's what is he talking? You'll figure out when he gets there where he'll live. I don't know. Why is this pertinent information? So for this message, Ramban on Pasuk Yud, V'yoshav tov eretz Goshen, you'll live in Goshen. Haya Yosef yodea ba'aviv, shlo yirtza lamod be'eretz Mitzrayim. Asher sham habira l'malchus. Yosef knew his father, and Yosef knew that his father would be extremely reluctant to come and live in the center of the government. Wouldn't want the impact of the government, wouldn't want whatever pressures. Al-Kain shalach lo me'ata ki be'eretz Goshen yoshivenu. This is a core part of the message. He's not just saying, "Come live with me." He's saying, "Come live with me, and I get it. You're going to need your distance from the center of action, even though I'm in the center of action, and I'm the viceroy of Egypt, but you're going to want distance. Don't worry, it's going to be an option, because if you wouldn't offer him the distance, he might not come." Okay, so that's just a very interesting Ramban to keep in mind. Verse 11, so Yosef continues, "I will provide for you there in Egypt, in Goshen, because we're not out of the woods. There's going to be 5 more years of famine. Lest you and your household and everything of yours become impoverished." That's what Yosef says to Yaakov. That's why you've got to come, because I can provide you food, and who knows what's going to happen. You might become impoverished if you don't come. Another interesting Ramban on Pasuk Yud Aleph, V'yomar penti v'reisha tov escha derech kavod. What Yosef is conveying to his father, he's trying to convey to him in as respectful a manner as possible. Ki le'echav amar, ki le'mechyash lochani elokim lefnechem. Yosef actually said it stronger to his brothers. He said, "God has sent me as a lifeline to you. He sent me the ability to give you life. If you're not going to come under my protection and assistance, you will die of famine." But he doesn't want to say that to his father. So he says, "You'll have severe financial difficulties if you don't come." He didn't want to say that to his father. So he says to them, "If you stick around in the land of Canaan, you'll be impoverished." Obvious question that I'm sure some people here, maybe all of you, have thought about at one point or another. If Yosef is such a macher and the Egyptians have so much food, why does Yaakov have to move? Why can't Yosef send down to Yaakov? Yosef sent Yaakov those wagons to get him. Why can't Yosef send Yaakov wagons of food every 3 months? What's the big deal? So the Ramban explains, I'm not going to be able to send you food. I have to watch my step. I'm in a prominent position, but I'm really an outsider. And if I do anything that arouses suspicion, the whole thing might fall apart. My position might fall apart. If I'm regularly sending food out of the land of Egypt, by the way, to my homeland, they're going to begin to think that I'm trying to set up a base for myself to ultimately flee. And that I'm helping them a lot now, but as I'm helping them, I'm creating a golden parachute for myself. And maybe at some moment, I'll just walk out the door and I will have used their grain to provide my exit strategy. And maybe if this builds their suspicion of me, maybe they'll get rid of me. Maybe I won't be able, and maybe I won't be able to provide for myself or any of us. So it's not an option. I cannot send you food. You're going to have to come here. Uvavoachem, v'yedu ki itam avi v'achai yitin li hamelech rishus. But if you come to me and you're moving, etc., then the king will give me permission. So it's a very interesting Ramban to keep in mind. Now let's go to verse 12. So now this is basically the message that Yosef has conveyed to his father through his brothers has been completed now. But now he has a very important thing to say, sort of a verification of the whole message. V'hinei einechem roos. Your eyes see, v'einei achi Binyamin, and the eyes of my brother Binyamin, kifi hamdaber alechem. You see my mouth that's speaking to you. Very strange puzzle. What in the world does that mean? Just how did you translate the words? Verse 13, v'yigatem lavi es kol kvodi Mitzrayim. Tell my father all of my honor in Egypt, v'yes kol asher risem, and everything that you've seen, and quickly bring my father here. Okay. Ramban and Pasuk Beis. Kifi amdaber alechem. So he starts off by quoting Rashi, B'lashon HaKodesh. So what he's saying to the brothers that they should relate to their father is, you heard me speak Hebrew to you. And that is a proof that I'm legit. That is a proof that I'm not an imposter. I'm his son, Yosef. You need to tell our father that I spoke in Hebrew to you. It's possible he's just giving this to them as sort of an added perspective. Shidaber Adam Echad b'Mitzrayim b'Lashon HaKodesh ki al dat yusfas Canaan. Ramban says, what kind of proof is this? What does that mean? This is such a big proof that he's speaking Hebrew to him. He's a major governmental figure, and this was the standard language in the land of Israel. Ki Avram lo hevio mi urkastim mecharan ki aramis he. Just an interesting thing to think about. So Avram spoke Hebrew. Did he bring the language of Hebrew from Ur-Kasdim? The Ramban says, I don't think Avram brought Hebrew from Ur-Kasdim. So actually the Ramban suggests that Hebrew was the language of the land. Now we would say that because God had a plan that Hebrew should be the language of the land because Hebrew is the holy language and that's the holy land, so on and so forth. But the Ramban says, I don't think Hebrew was unique to the Jews. It wasn't one person's language. So it's like, lahavdil in our times, if somebody used to live in, imagine a person used to live in America and then something happened to them and they wanted their family to know it was really them. And they sent the message and they said, and by the way, note, I'm speaking to you in English. I'm speaking to you in English. What percentage of the world can speak English? What's the big deal? That's not a proof. So it makes them, maybe, says Ramban, it's making them feel a little better, a little more comfortable that he's clearly attuned to us, something like that. Egypt wasn't that far from Israel. So the Ramban says, I bet a lot of Egyptians knew Hebrew. And remember, they're not just talking to a random person in Egypt, they're talking to the viceroy of Egypt. It's very normal for people in prominent positions to be able to speak multiple languages. Okay, fine. Just skipping about 8 lines in the Ramban. Ramban says, if you want to know what a proof is in this conversation, it's not that he's speaking in Hebrew, it's that he knows private information. He knows his name. He knows that they sold him to Egypt, and he says that to them. And now, like the big trump card is, and by the way, I'm speaking Hebrew. The Ramban says, what kind of proof is that? I think the pshat is Yomar, that what the Ramban is saying is that the Ramban says that what Yosef is saying is you and my brother Binyamin see that I am really the ruler over Egypt, the fact, sort of like the on the ground ruler over Egypt. Hamagid lachem mipi ki ani achichem umitzav lahorid avi elai l'chalkala. So the Ramban says what it means, kifi hamdaber alechem, is my mouth, the mouth that makes things happen in Egypt. I'm the one speaking to you. And I tell my father that I have a lot of control here, and I'm the one speaking to you. In Kain Tagidu lo obvious kol hakavod, this kol asher yisem be'inechem b'smaru lo rido elai. Tell my father everything you saw here. Ki advarim emes. Tell him that what I'm saying is believable. V'yesh b'koach la'atzilo l'achyoso barav. I really can save you. I really can save you. Vu kamo kifi ani dibarti. And the idea of kifi, I should say, let me correct myself. What the Ramban is really saying is that what I'm saying sounds legitimate. I proved to you that it was me, and from everything you see the trappings of my office. I can help you. Make sure our father understands that I can help you, and if he lets me, I will help you. So that's an interesting dispute as to what's meant when Yosef says the mouth. Okay, let's just go on to verse 16. Va'kol nishma beis Paro lemor. The voice was heard in the house of Paro saying, Bo'ach Yosef. So now Yosef has revealed himself to the brothers, and now it gets out throughout the house of Paro. Vayitav beinei Pharaoh uveinei avodav. And it was good in the eyes of Paro and the eyes of his servants. It's really a heartwarming story, but why does it say it was good in the eyes of Paro and the eyes of his servants? And what do they care? Let's really, what do they care? So we'll talk about this tomorrow, God willing. Just to recap what we discussed today. We discussed the Ramban's perspective on why Yosef makes a point of conveying to Yaakov that he'll live in Goshen. We discussed Ramban's perspective on the Derech Eretz of Yosef's message to Yaakov. He doesn't want to say, I'm going to help you live. He says, I'm going to help you not become poor. And then we discussed the issue with Rashi and the Ramban regarding what it means that you should see that my mouth is speaking to you. Okay, I'm really sorry. I know I said it yesterday also. I still have to run today. I just want to see, I'm just going to share it. My father shared a very brief chat. If I could just share for a moment, then I think I'm going to have to get off. Okay, I'm just going to read it just so I don't have to process it. Actually, Goshen is not strictly speaking near the seat of government. In fact, when Yaakov is failing, they have to send a messenger to Yosef, who's in the seat of government, that his father is ill. That's a very interesting point. That it's clearly, it's not just down the block. Goshen isn't really next door to the capital. So when Yosef says you'll be close to me, presumably the pshat is relatively speaking, but that's a very valid point. Thank you, Nancy. I'm really sorry. I very much hope to be available to discuss things tomorrow. Okay. Okay, you got to go. Okay, have a great day. And we are meeting tomorrow morning, God willing. We are meeting tomorrow morning, as has been discussed already. Take care, everybody.